Arcades are just kid-friendly casinos. Tickets instead of chips. Prizes instead of money. Rigged claw machines instead of rigged slot machines. First to the big $10,000 ticket prize. Now let's face it, has been there since the 90s. I mean, nobody is getting that thing. Because it's impossible. Nobody is getting 10,000 tickets. And even if you did, like, where would you store them all? Alright, here's the ticket room. The ticket room? How many are in there? About 8,763. I think it's become sentient because one time it ate my dog. But you know, I could just buy a new one with all these tickets. What do you...
Feed me more.
He's so funny. And if you return to the mall, would the cashier have to count every single ticket? Alright, here's all my tickets. Yep, I quit. I can only imagine what hell it is to work in an arcade with your brain being constantly blasted with stimulation. Bright lights, blaring music, arcade machines going off every 5 seconds, and you'd probably have to clean up some kid's throw up every 5 minutes, the cause of which probably being that they ate a gumball from that gumball machine that has been rotting there since 1992. But working at an arcade does mean you have all of the power. And what I mean by that is you can choose whether how much you want to rig the machines or not. Because if you didn't know, on the inside of arcade machines, you can actually choose how much you want to rig it or not. Which is so messed up, but it's also pretty common knowledge that these things are rigged regardless. That dopamine hit is worth losing your house for. And those bathrooms must be treacherous. But you know, that's what they get. If you can sit behind a counter and look at me in the damn face, and I give you 1,000 tickets that I spent 2 hours getting, and you give me a dirty rubber ball and a stale Tootsie Roll, then you deserve to dispel the muck amongst the public restrooms of this establishment. But let's talk about the actual games themselves. And as we all know, most of the games are rigged, but you're having fun while you're getting scammed. Instead of the thief pointing their gun at you and you give them your wallet, you look down the barrel of the gun and say, "No. Please take my money." But laser tag is by far the best arcade game. If you tell me you never felt like you were in a Black Ops 2 mission every time you played that game, then I'm sorry, you're just an alien. Not only was it fun, but it's like completely dark and the only lights are the LED ones on the walls and all that fog. Although I still don't know why they make you repeat back the rules like it's some kind of cult. There will be no running, jumping, or climbing. There will be no running, jumping, or climbing. You will listen to me and me only. I will listen to you and you only. You will give me your soul. We will give you our soul. But there's also those guys that take it way too seriously. And by that I mean they wear like all black, like black hats, black shirts, black shoes, black pants. And then some of them wear like electrical tape over the sensor so that way you can't hit them. And if you do that, you're just a loser. Like, you defeat the whole point of the game. Like, why are you playing it? You don't even get anything out of it. There's no tickets. There's no fun and there's no competition if you just can't get, if you're just immune to getting hit at all times. It's the same thing with like hacking, but there's no levels in the game, so there's just no point to it. Like, go home, bruh, go home. There's also like a different version of the claw machine where it's more like higher price items instead of like cheap stuffed animals. It's like iPhones and AirPods. There's also like a keyhole version where you try to get like the key in the hole or something like that. The problem with the claws is that they're always so weak and small. Like, they can't even pick up any items, and even if they do, they'll probably drop it halfway through. And speaking of getting angry, bowling. This transition will make sense in a little while. Now, usually arcades are attached to bowling alleys, not bowling alleys attached to arcades, but I kind of ran out of stuff to talk about in the arcade segment. And usually with bowling alleys, they have these really tight shoes. I know they're used so that way you don't slip and fall and break your skull, but they're always like unnaturally tight, at least for me. I mean, when I take them off, my feet are purple. And also, who actually uses the 16-pound ball? What psychopath is using like an actual boulder to bowl? And I remember one time I went bowling and I got a strike on my first throw, and then for the whole rest of the game I got complete gutter balls. Like, if you pointed a gun to my head at that very moment and said hit at least one pin, I would not be alive to tell this story today. And I was getting so mad. But in Wii bowling, that's a completely different story. I am the Wii bowling champion. Okay, on that day, it taught me a very important lesson. Wii bowling is the only real bowling. But that's kind of all I have to say about arcades and bowling. So see you next time, and you won't find the bodies.